Okay, so this is going to be a image cleanup critique, and I'm going to criticize, unfortunately, because I have to do a critique and actually show what's wrong with this image or this cleanup job. And then I'm also going to show us exactly how to accomplish this the right way. So this is going to be really fun. My friend Desiree is going to be a good sport. I know it, and let me criticize her for the sake of all. But it's really, she's brand new to this, so there's nothing, there's no harm, no foul, and any kind of work done. It's actually amazing that something got done at all, But I'm going to show exactly how to do this the right way. So here's what's wrong with this cleaned up image. This is our original on the left. It's 1679 by 2015. This one on the right is 4096 by 4096. It's huge. But the quality, let's zoom in here to 100% on this one. So here's our originals quality. In my opinion, it's pretty sharp. It's great. And then here's our cleaned up image. I'm just going to zoom into the same level. And these side by side makes it pretty clear that something's happened to the one on the right. It's actually less quality than it was when it started. And that's just due to the tools being used and the techniques. And so I'm going to show exactly how to do this the right way from scratch. It's going to be real familiar to some of you, but for some of you, it'll be the very first time you've seen something like this. And I'm really excited to share this because this is going to make all the difference in your DTF prints. Let's get started. All right, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to use Upscale. So you get Upscale, it's spelled Upscayl, from upscale.org. It's completely free. Just go to the site, hit desktop, download Windows or whatever system you have. So once you have that program installed, you're going to want to run it. And I like to pin it to my taskbar. See, it's pinned. I have unpinned it, but I'm going to use this so much that I pinned it to my taskbar. Okay, we're going to select this image. Oh, let's name it, right? We're going to name this AutismSaurus Rex. Oh, yep. I think I got it. All right, here we go. Okay, now we're in the upscale moment. This is where we think about how much white space there is on the sides. Not a lot. So we don't have to go too big with this. But Desiree's got a super nice computer, so I'm just going to pump it up because she can handle it. 6,700 pixels. Okay, that's a lot. That's a big upscale. Never really need to go bigger than that. And remember, the image was already good quality before we upscaled. So now we're just adding, pixels, and we're also adding details. So let's take a look at this. So this is the upscaled image. And let's just do that same side by side with our original. Okay. So let's scale this in. So this is not big enough to print. It's 1679 by 2015. So it's like, what is that? Oh, 16 divided by 3. I'm struggling right here. Like 5 inches wide. And now this new one, I mean, it's more than 20 inches wide. 20 times 300 is 6,000. So let's look at this at 100% on this side. Okay. And let's look at this at the same scale on this side. So we haven't lost any details. Maybe smoothed over some things. I mean, there's a little bit of texture in this original that's better. But this is sharper all the way around. And here's the beautiful thing is we can go way in. And it's still nice and crisp. See, it's really, still haven't reached 100% yet. It's large and in charge. Okay, and if we zoom this guy in to that same level, well, you can see that that's not even a comparison. The one on the right is clearly superior. So now I have closed all of my applications and I'm going to photop.com. So I've closed everything because I know I'm going to be working with a large image in a web browser. I'm just making things calm on my computer so that I can really work. I'm going to grab that upscaled image. So here it comes. And this one's really easy. So I'm going to select my magic wand. I've got a tolerance of 80. I've got contiguous checked. And I'm just going to zoom in. So view, zoom in, and then control plus, control minus. I usually start by zooming in with the menu like I just did, and then I'll do control plus and control minus after that. So Sometimes when you hit Control Plus on this, it'll like zoom the browser, which is really confusing. Okay, so I'm just going to click once outside, and it's making my selection for me. And we're going to be in control of that selection. I'll show you what I mean. And so I'm just learning the image at this point. Like I'm learning where the problems are going to be and what the challenges are. So one of the challenges that I see is that we've got this this white layer here that's behind the block and around the dino, around most of the dino. So he's got this stroke that goes around him, and that's all been selected. I would say accidentally. It hasn't, nothing's been done wrong. The program did exactly what it was supposed to. However, I don't want to get rid of those parts, or I do want to get rid of them, and I want to add them back in, because that would actually be really nice. So one of the challenges we have is if we're going to keep this white stroke, we really should continue it all the way around him right here. So that's one of the challenges we have. I'm going to go ahead and select the insides of these letters. So I think that's got it. That needed to get popped out. So I've got all the things that I think are selected, and I'm going to middle mouse button around. So I'm clicking in my middle mouse wheel to move around. I'm just taking a look at how things are over here. So I'm grabbing my lasso tool now. These little dots I'm going to get rid of. I just got rid of that one. I don't really want these little tiny things. This one looks kind of funky, so we can just get rid of it. Really just showing you that you don't have to keep it all. You can absolutely continue to refine the design. Now I'm going to hold shift and get this middle of this R, because I just noticed that I'd missed it. And now I'm going to deselect some parts. So let me show you what I mean. So I'm going to come in here, and I've got my lasso tool, and I don't want it to cut into the design right here, so I'm just going to hold Alt, and I have my mouse speed way down, so I'm just drawing that in, okay, and I'm just drawing around this part, and I'm just going to drop it when I feel like it's in a safe, and it'll snap all the way, and then I'm going to deselect this part right here, okay. So now I'm going to do the same thing. It's gotten all into this tail. And so I'm just drawing around. I don't have to do a bunch. I don't have to do the whole thing at once. I'm just holding Alt each time, and that's adding to my selection. And here you can see it's really kind of gone crazy and picked up a bunch of stuff we don't want. So or a bunch of stuff we don't want to get rid of. We want to keep it. So I'm just drawing around. And now I've got a decision to make right here at this juncture. I'm going to hold Alt, and I'm just going to draw, so I'm just continuing the white line to right there. It's going to stop there. And this is certainly an acceptable solution for this. It's not right. I would say, there's a right and wrong here, and the right thing is to continue that white line outside the dyno if we're going to have it inside. That's the kind of thing that's going to reveal that we've cut this off a background rather than had the design in full quality from the beginning. All right, you see what I'm doing here? I'm just going around and circling all these parts really fast. Now I'm getting closer to where I have to make a decision, and I'm just going to try to save my line right here. So I'm just going to draw it in. So I'm just going to draw up and around, and I'm definitely not happy with that shape that I just made. So I'm just going to come back in and round it off. That's got it. We're zoomed way in. And then right here, I'm just going to swoop around this and actually, make that more rounded. I'm just looking for any other parts that I might want to work on a little bit more. Okay. Whoa, I've done that before. View, fit the area. Okay, so there's my selection. Now I need to push it in slightly, and I'll show you what I mean. Like, let's zoom way in here and look at this edge. If we look at this edge real closely, we can see there's little white pixels all the way around. So we don't want that. So I'm just going to do select, modify, expand. So that's pushing in towards the drawing. And I'm just going to go 1 pixel. Okay, so it's just inside the line now. And I'm just going to delete the background. So I'm going to hit the delete key right now. And that should have gotten rid of my background completely. And I should have a nice cut. But let's look at how to grade ourselves on our work. So I'm going to add a solid color of black and pull it behind the drawing. And that's going to let me see how we did. Now, we lost our text. It looks like, well, I mean, what happened? It's black against black. But the rest of this looks fine, except for that missing white outline. So let's think about how we could make that come into existence. I'm going to duplicate this layer. And I'm going to turn this one behind to have a stroke. So I'm just going to do blending options, and I'm going to do stroke. Okay. Outside. Let's see if we can see a preview. So I want the stroke to be outside. It says 3px right now. The fill type is color. And we want to choose white. That is pure white. Okay. Now you can see the little outline starting to creep out. And I'm going to expand it until it matches that interior. So just about right there looks perfect, okay? Now the problem, now that's fixed our white outline around here, but the problem obviously is that it's put white around all out here, and we don't want that, okay? So what we're going to do is we will rasterize that, okay? So I'm just going to rasterize that layer style. Remember, I still have this other copy that doesn't have it. Now I've got the one with the stroke. And I'm just going to select real carefully. I'm going to select right along here. So just selecting this part of that image with that rasterized stroke on it. And I'm going to do Control-Shift-I to select everything else, and then just hit delete. And now I just have a little bit of touch-up to do. So I'm just going to grab my eraser tool, and I'm just going to erase right along here and just smooth this out. The middle mouse button around, and I'm just going to click here, and I can hold Shift and draw a straight line. I can just curve that in and kind of blend it in. Okay, so now I've got this like white outline even where I didn't before. And the next thing I'm not happy about, we can merge these two layers now. Let's just merge them down so we don't get confused. I'm not happy with this dirtiness on the black. So you can't even see it unless you put the black layer behind, and then you can very much see that there's a lot of different kind of black here, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all the way around here. So I'm just selecting all of this. And I'm not going to get, I can get in here and I can get some of this along this edge. But I don't want to get too close to that other stuff. And I'm just going to come around. Alright, I think I've got all my black. And I could also add to it here. And just, kind of get this edge and get some of this part of the black. Okay. Alright, so let's copy that. And then paste it back. So now I've just got that black on that layer. And then we're going to do blending options, color overlay. And we're going to tell it that it is black and hit OK. And now we'll turn this layer back on, and we'll turn our black back behind, and look at how that black text is just gone. So we now know that is solid black because we have that color overlay. And really, I think this is pretty good. So I'm just going to do image, trim. It's real important to trim your image. That way it's going to be the exact size when you upload it. It'll print the same size as it shows in the gang sheet builder, okay? And then we're going to do image size because we don't need it to stay this big. I'm going to go ahead and set this DPI to 300. And then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to set this width to 4500 and see what my height is. Okay, great. So if my height is over 5700, I would scale down to 5700 in the height. And if my width, I always just do 15 inch on the width, as the max. Because I have a 16 by 20 heat press. Nobody's going to need it bigger than, at least not normally need it any bigger than 15 inches wide. That's huge. Most people print at 10.75. Okay, so now this is fixed. I'm going to hit OK. And then I'm going to export it. So I'm going to do File, Save, Export as PNG. And I'm being patient because it's a, it's a really large file. Okay, and I'm just going to rename this. So AutismSaurus Rex. I'm going to do 4500px RTP. And then I'm going to put my name so everybody knows that I did it. Save. Okay, let's just go check it out. Let's bring it back into the competition. Let's see if we can find that other one so we can see our progress, the improvement over the original. So there's the original, and there's this fuzzy line around here. That's all going to print white when that prints because it's got those semi-transparent pixels. And then let's look at this. And I mean, printing white's okay, if it's intentional. But this is also going to print white, but it's going to be really intentional and very crisp. And you can really see the difference in how this is going to print compared to that. All right, there's my tutorial. Desiree, I hope this helped a ton. I hope you learned a lot. And if you have any questions, you just come back and ask me because I'm ready to help. Thanks so much. Bye.